How did one sentence in a kitchen fight end with me getting divorce papers in my office lobby, in front of my coworkers? What happens when a husband stops arguing, starts saving proof, and lets the law speak for him? Why did I still try to act like he was the cruel one, even while my bank app stopped working? My name is Ligeia Brooks. I was 33, and I worked as a marketing coordinator in a tech office with grey carpets and free coffee. People liked me because I smiled on cue. I knew how to sound reasonable. At home, I acted like I carried the whole marriage on my back. That night started like a normal weeknight. The kitchen light was too bright. The kids' lunchboxes were still open on the counter. Ethan stood by the sink with his sleeves rolled up like he was calm on purpose. He asked why I was late again. I said traffic was bad and my team needed me. He asked why my phone was on silent. I said I forgot to turn the sound back on after a meeting. He asked why I smelled like someone else's cologne. I said it was the elevator at work and people were packed in close. I said all of it like it was simple math. I believed my own lines because I needed them to be true. Ethan did not raise his voice. That was the thing that made me angry. I wanted him to act like the villain, so I could feel clean. He asked if we could talk without the kids hearing. I said the kids were asleep and he was only trying to control the room. He asked what I wanted. I said I wanted peace. He asked what peace meant. I said it meant he should stop questioning me. Then he brought up the small changes in me. He asked why I guarded my phone. He asked why I always left the room to take calls. He asked why I started going to the gym at strange hours. I told him he was obsessed. I told him he made everything dirty. I told him he was paranoid. I also told him I was tired of being the only adult. He asked if I still loved him. I said love was not enough if he could not respect me. He asked what respect looked like. I said it looked like trust. He asked how he could trust me when my stories changed. I said he was twisting things to make me look bad. I could feel my chest getting tight, but I acted like I was fine. That is my skill. I act fine, and I make the other person look unstable. Ethan said he did not want to fight. He said he wanted truth. I heard the word truth like it was a trap. I did not want truth. I wanted control. So I said the sentence that was meant to win. He asked if I really thought our marriage was a mistake. I said maybe it was. I said it like a dare. I thought he would beg. I thought he would panic and promise to change. I thought he would say he could not live without me, so I could forgive him and look kind. He went quiet for a long moment. He looked at me like he was reading me for the first time. He asked if I meant it. I said yes, and I said he drove me there. I said I had been lonely for years. I said I had carried him. I said he never saw me. I said I had wasted my best years. I knew those words were sharp. That was the point. He nodded once. Slow. He said he understood. He said if that was true, then he would not hold me. He said he would pack a bag. I laughed, because I thought it was a stunt. I asked where he thought he was going. He said he would stay somewhere else for now. I asked if he was trying to punish me. He said he was trying to respect what I said. That line hit me like cold water. I felt fear, but I turned it into anger. I asked how he could leave the kids. He said he would still see them and take care of them. I asked if he planned to tell people I drove him away. He said he was not interested in telling stories. I told him that silence was also a story. He did not answer. Mia came to the top of the stairwell in her socks. Her hair was messy and her eyes were half closed. She asked why we were awake. Ethan asked her if she had a bad dream. She said she heard my voice. I wanted to say she was being dramatic, but her face looked small and worried. Ethan asked Mia to go back to bed. She said she wanted water. He walked past me, filled a cup and handed it to her like nothing was happening. That made me feel like the bad one, so I tried to flip it. I asked Ethan if he was trying to look like a hero. He asked why I always turned simple things into games. I said he was attacking me. He said he was not attacking anyone. He said he was leaving the fight. He went to the bedroom. I followed him to the hallway, keeping my steps hard so he knew I was still strong. He opened the closet and pulled out a suitcase. He moved like he had done it before, even though he had not. He folded shirts. He took his work shoes. He reached into the drawer for a charger and an old wallet. I saw his phone on the nightstand. The screen lit up with an alert. It said, "Meeting, personal, 9:20 a.m. The words were plain. No name, no place. Just that. He swiped it away without looking at me. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself he was bluffing. I told myself he had no plan. I needed to believe he had no plan because if he had one, then my power was smaller than I thought. He carried the suitcase down the stairs. The house felt too quiet. Caleb started crying in his room, the soft kind of cry he did when he woke up and did not see Ethan. I wanted Ethan to go fix it so I could say I still had him. Ethan went to Caleb anyway. He asked what was wrong. Caleb said he wanted Dad. Ethan told him Dad was here and would be back in the morning. He said it in a steady voice, like he had already decided the shape of tomorrow. In the driveway, the air was cold. The porch light made everything look harsh. Ethan put the suitcase in the trunk. I stood with my arms crossed because that is how a person looks when she is right. I asked if he was proud of himself. He said he was not proud. He said he was sad. He said he would not argue in front of the kids again. I told him he was acting like I was a monster. He said he did not call me names. He said he only listened to my words. He asked if I wanted him to stay. I said I did not want him to leave, but I also did not want him to think he could question me. I hated that I could not hold both things without sounding wrong. He got into the car. He buckled his seatbelt like it was a normal commute. He looked at the house one last time. Not dramatic, just careful. He asked me to keep the kids' morning routine the same. I said I would do whatever I wanted. He nodded like he expected that answer. As he backed out, I pulled out my phone. I opened my camera, ready to record if he did something bad. He did nothing. He simply drove away, slow and lawful, like he was following lines on the road and lines in his mind. I stood there alone, holding a phone full of secrets, and I still told myself he was the one who chose to break us. The next morning, I woke up alone in the bed, and I told myself it felt like freedom. The other side of the mattress was flat. His pillow was still there, but it looked unused, like a stage prop after the show. I walked to the kitchen and saw 2 mugs on opposite counters, like the room had already picked sides. Mia asked where Dad was. I said he had to work early. She asked why he left late at night. I said adults sometimes needed space. Caleb asked for him too, and I said Dad would see them later. I kept my voice light, like I was teaching a lesson instead of covering a mess I made. I checked my phone before I checked my kids. I had a message preview from Noah. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and that things were finally moving the way they should. He said he did not like drama. I said there was no drama, only change. I liked that word. Change sounded clean. On the drive to work, I practiced my story. I made Ethan the cold husband. I made myself the woman who tried. I made my sentence in the kitchen sound like a brave truth, not a weapon. The red light at Maple and 6th felt like a mirror. I watched my own face in the rear view and nodded like I believed myself. At the office, the air smelled like printers and coffee. The open plan floor was already loud with keyboards and small talk. Renee from finance asked how my night was. I said it was rough and I did not sleep. She asked if Ethan was okay. I said he was being stubborn. I said I was carrying emotional weight and he could not handle honesty. Renee made a small sound like she did not want details, but she listened anyway. At my desk, I opened my laptop and acted normal. I answered emails. I set a meeting. I smiled at a joke in the group chat. Then Cassidy came over with her big eyes and her hunger for news. She asked what happened. I said Ethan left. She asked if he yelled. I said he did not yell, and I said that was part of the problem. I told her he did silent punishments. I told her he used calm to make me look crazy. Cassidy asked if I meant it when I called the marriage a mistake. I said I only said it because he pushed me to the edge. I said I had been ignored for years. I said I was lonely in a house with a husband who acted like a roommate. I watched Cassidy's face react the way I wanted. Her sympathy made me feel like I was winning again. At lunch, Cassidy and 2 other women invited me to sit with them in the break area. They asked if I was scared. I said I was relieved. They asked if Ethan would come back. I said he always came back, and I said he would regret leaving. I said he was trying to scare me into apologizing. I said I would not apologize for telling the truth. I did not mention Noah. I did not mention the time I had met him near the gym parking lot. I did not mention how easy it felt when someone looked at me like I was new. I kept my secrets lined up in my head like folders. In the afternoon, my phone buzzed with a no caller ID missed call. I stared at it longer than I should have. I told myself it was a wrong number. Then I told myself Ethan was trying to mess with me. I liked that thought because it made him active and messy. It made me feel like the center. When I got home, the house felt too tidy. The kids' shoes were lined up by the door the way Ethan liked. The trash was taken out. The dishwasher was empty. It irritated me because it looked like care. Care did not fit the villain's story. Ethan came by around dinner time. He asked about the kids' day. I said they were fine. He asked if he could take them to the park for an hour. I said yes, like I was granting a favor. He thanked me, which annoyed me more. I wanted him to plead, not be polite. While he helped Mia find her jacket, I walked past the hallway table and noticed a neat pile of envelopes. They were not opened. They were sorted by type, like household, utilities, bank. The labels were plain, written in his careful handwriting. I told myself he was being dramatic. I also felt a small pinch of fear, like a door closing softly. When Ethan returned the kids later, he asked if we could talk for 5 minutes. I said I was tired and he was only trying to trap me. He asked if I was seeing someone else. I laughed and said he was paranoid again. He said he did not want to accuse. He said he wanted honesty. I said he should look at himself and ask why I felt alone. I watched his face tighten, then smooth out again. He asked why my phone kept lighting up when I thought no one could see. I said it was work. He asked why I kept turning my screen away. I said I had private messages from coworkers and he was being controlling. He looked down at the floor, like he was counting breaths. He said he was going to focus on the kids now. He said he would not fight in front of them. After he left, I called Cassidy while I cleaned the counter. I told her Ethan accused me of cheating. She gasped like it was a crime to even say the word out loud. She asked what I said. I told her I put him in his place. She laughed and said he deserved a lesson. That made me feel bold again. Later that night, Cassidy invited me to a rooftop bar. She said I needed support and a fresh start. I told myself I deserved it. I told myself I had been patient for years. I told myself a drink in the city air was not wrong. The rooftop was crowded and bright. People leaned close to hear each other. Phones were everywhere. Cassidy took photos and pulled me into frames like we were celebrating. She asked if she could post. I said yes, because I wanted the world to see I was fine. A few minutes later, she showed me the post. She had tagged Ethan. She added a caption that made him sound weak and petty without saying it straight. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself he needed consequences for leaving. I told myself public pressure was the only language he understood. My phone buzzed again. Noah asked where I was. I said I was out with friends. He asked if Ethan would show up. I said Ethan was not that kind of man. Noah said he liked that I was choosing myself, and I felt heat in my chest. I asked if he could meet later. He said he could. I drank more than I planned. I laughed louder than I felt. I watched the city lights and pretended they were for me. Inside my head, I kept repeating my favorite line. I said respect follows results, and I had results. When I got home, I opened my laptop to answer a few work emails, just in case someone asked tomorrow. I clicked into my shared drive without thinking. A small pop-up appeared on the screen from Ethan's old account that was still synced. It said a file had uploaded successfully. Then another. Then another. No names, just the message. I stared at it, annoyed and uneasy. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself he was organizing bills. I told myself he could not do anything real. Still, I found my hand hovering over the trackpad, like I wanted to dig. Then my phone vibrated with a rideshare alert, and I remembered Noah was waiting. I shut the laptop fast, like I had caught it spying on me instead of the other way around. The weekend came fast, and I treated it like a stage. I told myself I did not start the drama. I told myself Ethan forced me to be honest. I said I was only finally speaking my truth, like truth was a shield. Denise invited us to a family dinner at a restaurant with long tables and loud plates. She said the family needed to see we were fine. I understood what she really meant. She wanted witnesses. She wanted an audience to confirm her version of Ethan. Ethan arrived with the kids first. He held Caleb's hand and carried Mia's small backpack. He looked tired, but clean. He sat them down and asked the server for water with no ice, the way Mia liked it. I watched him do it, and it made my throat hot. I wanted him to fail at something small. I wanted him to look careless so I could feel right. Kayla hugged me and asked if I was okay. I said I was better now that I stopped begging for basic respect. Cassidy came too, even though she was not family. Denise had invited her like she was a cousin. Cassidy smiled at me like she was proud. When Ethan stood up to greet Denise, she did not smile. She asked him why he left the house. He said he did not leave the kids, and he still came every day. Denise asked why he was acting like a victim. He said he was not acting. He said he only wanted peace. Denise made a small laugh and said peace was easy for men who never listened. Ethan did not argue. That calmness bothered me. I leaned into it. I asked Ethan, in front of everyone, if he planned to keep sulking forever. He asked what I meant by sulking. I said he was trying to punish me with silence. He said he was not punishing anyone. He said he was avoiding fights in front of the kids. I said it was funny how he cared about the kids now. I said he ignored them when I needed help. He looked at me for a moment, then looked back at Mia. He asked her if she wanted chicken or pasta. Mia said pasta. Caleb said fries. Ethan nodded and wrote it down on the kids' menu like it mattered. Denise started talking louder. She told the table that I had been lonely for years. She said I had carried the emotional load. Kayla nodded, but she looked uncomfortable. Gordon sat across from Ethan and stayed quiet. Patricia kept her hands folded and watched the kids eat bread. Cassidy joined in like she was a judge. She asked Ethan why he never posted about me. She asked why he acted like I was a chore. Ethan said he did not measure love in posts. Cassidy said that was a convenient answer for a cold man. She said it like she had been there. I could see other diners look over when our voices rose. That should have embarrassed me, but it did the opposite. I felt powerful. I felt like if enough people heard my side, it became the only side. Ethan asked if we could stop talking about the marriage at the table. I said he was trying to control the conversation again. He asked me to lower my voice. I said he was proving my point. Denise smiled like she won. Then I pushed harder. I said, in a calm voice, that I had called the marriage a mistake, and he agreed. I said it like he admitted guilt. I said if he agreed so fast, then maybe he never cared. I watched Patricia's face change. I watched Gordon's jaw tighten. Ethan did not defend himself. He asked me if I wanted to discuss it later in private. I said no, because private talks were where he twisted things. I said I wanted clarity in the open. I made it sound brave. In my head, I knew I was avoiding questions I could not answer. Caleb dropped his fork, and the metal sound made everyone pause. Mia stared at her plate and stopped chewing. She asked if we could go home soon. I told her to eat. Ethan told her she could take her time. He said it softly, like he was careful with her feelings. Denise asked Ethan if he planned to move out for real. He said he was already staying elsewhere for now. Denise asked where. He said he would not discuss his personal life at dinner. Denise said he was hiding things. I almost laughed. I wanted to say, yes, he is hiding, but not like you think. Ethan's phone buzzed on the table. I saw the screen light up. The contact was not a name. It was an emoji, a simple symbol, nothing I could read. Ethan flipped the phone over without looking at it. He did it smoothly, like he had practiced. I leaned toward him and asked who kept calling. He said it was a reminder, and it could wait. I asked why he had reminders during dinner. He said he had responsibilities. Denise said he always acted busy to avoid feelings. Ethan did not respond. The food came. I barely tasted mine. I watched Ethan the whole time, waiting for him to slip. He did not. He cut Caleb's food into smaller pieces. He wiped Mia's mouth with a napkin. He thanked the server. He did not raise his voice once. I tried another tactic. I asked Ethan if he had ever noticed when I felt lonely. He asked what I wanted from him now. I said I wanted him to admit he failed. He said he could admit he made mistakes, but he would not accept false stories. I asked what false stories. He said the ones that made him a monster so I could feel innocent. My stomach tightened when he said that, because it sounded too close to truth. Denise told him he was gaslighting me. Cassidy nodded like she understood the word. I felt comfort in their support. I told myself Ethan was manipulating them with his calm. After dinner, we walked outside to the parking lot. The air was cold and smelled like exhaust. Mia held my hand but kept glancing at Ethan. Caleb asked if Dad was coming back to the house tonight. Ethan said not tonight, but he would see them tomorrow. Caleb asked why. Ethan said adults sometimes needed space to make good choices. He said it like a lesson, not a threat. In the car, Kayla whispered that Mia looked sad. I told Kayla kids were resilient. I said Ethan was the one making it hard by leaving. Kayla asked if I really meant the marriage was a mistake. I said yes, and I said it was better to be honest than fake. Kayla did not answer. Later, Ethan suggested we take a short walk by the river with the kids to settle them down. I agreed, because it made me look cooperative. The promenade lights reflected on the water. People walked past us with dogs and coffee cups. It felt normal in a way that made my skin itch. Ethan stayed a step behind, letting the kids run ahead. He asked Mia about school. He asked Caleb about his toy cars. He asked me nothing. That silence felt like disrespect, so I poked at it. I asked Ethan if he enjoyed acting like the good parent in public. He asked why I always needed to turn care into competition. I said he started it by leaving. He said he left because I said the marriage was a mistake. I said I only said it because he pushed me. He said he did not push words into my mouth. His voice stayed even. We reached a bench. Ethan sat down and looked at his phone. I saw a note app open for a second before he locked the screen. I saw lines like dates and short phrases, not a message thread, not a love note, just neat rows, like a list. I asked what he was writing. He said he was tracking what mattered, so nothing got confused later. That answer made me feel exposed, even though he did not accuse me. I laughed and asked if he was making a file on me now. He said he was making sure the kids had stability. He said when adults fought, kids paid first, and he would not let that happen. As we walked back to the cars, I noticed a new key on his ring. It was not for our house. It was small and silver, with a plain tag. I asked what it was for. He said it was for something he needed for storage. I asked what he was storing. He said his personal things, so the house did not feel tense. I wanted to say he was overreacting. I wanted to say he was trying to scare me. But the new key felt real in a way my stories did not. Ethan opened his car door and buckled Caleb in. He told Mia to hug me before she got in. Mia hugged me. But she did it like she was careful, like she did not know which side would hurt her later. Ethan closed the door and looked at me one last time. He asked me to keep my posts respectful. I said I could say whatever I wanted. He nodded like he expected that too. Then he drove away, slow and steady, and I stood by my car, pretending I was still in control. On Monday, the office felt different. It was the same grey carpet and the same cold air from the vents, but people looked up when I walked past. I told myself they were concerned for me. I told myself they saw a woman leaving a bad situation. I did not consider they might see something else. By mid-morning, my manager messaged me and asked if I could come to a small meeting room near HR. He said it would be quick. I said yes, and I walked there with my shoulders back, like I had nothing to hide. Inside, an HR rep sat with a notepad. My manager sat beside her and kept his hands folded. The HR rep asked if everything was okay at home. She asked because there had been posts and tags over the weekend, and a few people at work felt uncomfortable. She asked if I needed support. I said yes, but I said I did not need help like I was weak. I said I needed understanding. She asked what happened between me and Ethan. I said he could not handle honesty. I said he used silence as a weapon. I said he left the house to punish me and to make me look unstable. I said he was the type of man who smiled in public and controlled in private. I did not say the word cheating. I did not say anything that could be checked easily. I kept it foggy on purpose. My manager asked if Ethan had contacted anyone at the office. I said no, but I said he might. I suggested he could try to turn people against me. The HR rep asked if I felt unsafe. I paused, because the safe answer would have been no, but the useful answer was yes. I said I felt pressured and watched. I said he asked too many questions. I said he made me feel guilty for having friends. I watched them nod, and I felt a small spark of power. When I walked back to my desk, Renee looked up from her screen. She asked if HR was okay. I said yes, and I said it was only because Ethan's behavior was affecting my focus. Renee made a small face like she did not know what to believe. I told myself she was jealous of my attention. Around noon, Noah texted me. He asked if I could meet for a quick coffee near the gym. I said I could. I told my team I had an errand and would be back soon. I made sure my calendar showed meeting personal, so it looked official. I had learned from Ethan without meaning to. In the parking lot by the gym, Noah waited near his car. He smiled like nothing in my life was heavy. He asked how things were. I said Ethan was acting cold and dramatic. Noah asked if Ethan knew about us. I said Ethan did not know anything real. And I said he only guessed because he was insecure. Noah said he did not want trouble. He said he liked me, but he did not want to be pulled into a messy marriage. I said it was not messy, it was ending. I said Ethan and I were basically done. Noah asked if I had proof we were separating. I laughed and said adults did not need proof for feelings. He did not laugh back. Noah suggested I should keep things quiet until my situation was clear. I heard the distance in his words and felt my chest tighten. I asked if he was pulling away. He said he was being smart. I told him he was being selfish. He said he was not the one who made vows. That line made me angry, because it was true in a way I did not like. I stepped closer and told him Ethan had been neglecting me for years. I told Noah I deserved kindness. I told him I deserved to be wanted. Noah nodded, but his eyes kept scanning the lot, like he worried someone might see. I told myself he was cautious, not ashamed. When I got back to the office, I found 2 missed calls from no caller ID. My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen and tried to guess who it was. I told myself it was Ethan playing games. Then I told myself it could be someone official. I hated that thought, so I crushed it fast. That evening, I went to daycare pickup alone. The line of cars moved slow. Parents watched their phones and sighed. When Mia and Caleb came out, Mia climbed into her seat and asked if Dad would come tonight. I said Dad was busy. Mia asked why Dad was always busy now. I said Dad chose to be busy. The words came out sharp, and Mia's face changed. She looked out the window and went quiet. At home, the kitchen felt too organized again. The counter was clear. The kids' shoes were lined up. There was a faint toner smell, like someone had printed something earlier. I told myself it was from work papers Ethan had left behind. Then I remembered Ethan had not been here all day. My skin prickled. I walked to the hall closet and opened it fast, like catching someone. Everything looked normal. Coats, a vacuum, a box of light bulbs. Still, the closet door made a soft click when I shut it, like a lock settling. I checked again and saw a small locked drawer I had never used. I pulled on it. It did not open. I told myself Ethan was being dramatic again. I told myself he was hoarding control. Ethan arrived at 7, right on time. He asked how the kids were. I said they were fine. He asked if Mia had homework. I said yes, and I pointed at her backpack. He asked if he could help her with reading. I said he could try. I said it like he was not good at it, even though he always was. While he sat with Mia at the table, I watched him from the sink. He kept his voice soft. He asked her what the story was about. She said it was about a lost dog. He asked what the dog wanted. She said the dog wanted home. Mia looked up at him when she said it, and her eyes stayed there too long. I felt jealous of my own child's trust. After the kids were in their rooms, Ethan asked if we could talk about schedules. He said he wanted clear days for pickups and bedtime. I said he was acting like we were already divorced. He said he was acting like the kids needed structure. I said he was making it cold on purpose. He said he was trying to keep it calm. I stepped closer and asked if he had told his parents lies about me. He asked why I kept calling facts lies. I said he was trying to trap me with word games. He said he did not want games. He said he wanted respectful communication. Then his phone made a soft beep on the counter. It was not a ring. It was a short sound, like a small button had been pressed. I looked down and saw his screen light for a second and then go dark. I asked what that was. He said it was nothing, just an app reminder. He said he was keeping track of important details, so nothing got twisted later. I laughed and said he was building a case like I was a criminal. He said he was not calling me a criminal. He said he was only protecting himself and the kids from confusion. The calm way he said it made my mouth go dry. I told him he was overreacting and being dramatic. I told him he was punishing me for speaking up. I told him he was trying to make me look unstable at work. Ethan asked why work was involved at all. I said he forced it because he left me and I needed support. Ethan said support was fine, but public shaming was not support. I felt cornered, so I attacked. I asked why he was so calm now, like he had someone coaching him. He said he did not need coaching to act lawful and kind. He said he was done with fights. He said if we had to do this, then we would do it properly. When he walked toward the guest room to get his jacket, I saw the bed behind him. The blanket was smooth flat, but the pillow looked used, like someone had been there. He did not look back at me. He just closed the door with a quiet click. For the first time, I wondered if my story was starting to lose control. I still told myself I was right, but I also felt a new fear, sharp and clean, like winter air in my lungs. On Tuesday morning, I went to the school hallway for drop-off because I wanted to prove I could do it alone. The corridor smelled like crayons and wet coats. Parents stood in small groups, whispering about weekend plans. I held Caleb's hand too tight. Mia walked ahead, slow, like she was already tired. A teacher smiled and asked if Ethan would come to the winter show. I said of course, because he loved to perform as the good dad. The teacher's smile slipped for a second, like she did not know what to do with that. Mia looked up at me, then away. She asked if Dad could still sit with her at lunch sometimes. I said it depended on his attitude. Mia asked what attitude. I said the one where he acts hurt to make me feel guilty. When we got back to the car, my phone buzzed with a message from Kayla. She asked if I was sure I wasn't making things worse. I said she was falling for Ethan's calm act. I told her calm could be a mask. She wrote that the kids looked sad at dinner, and she asked me to be careful. I told myself Kayla was weak. I also felt annoyed that she was not fully on my side anymore. At work, I tried to focus, but the day felt like it had little cameras in it. People watched, even when they didn't mean to. Renee asked if everything was settled at home. I said no because Ethan was being stubborn. Renee said she hoped the kids were okay. I said kids were resilient. I said adults were the ones who made problems. Near noon, I saw Ethan's name flash on my screen. He asked by text if I could confirm pickup times for the rest of the week. I said he was being controlling. He replied that it was about consistency for the kids. I told him he loved structure more than people. He replied that structure helped kids feel safe. I read his words and felt my teeth clench because they were hard to attack. I wanted to pull him back into a fight. A fight would prove he was the problem. So I sent a message that I knew would sting. I told him he was acting like a roommate again. I told him he left because he could not handle my honesty. He did not answer for a long time. After work, I stopped at the supermarket because I needed one normal thing to hold on to. The checkout line was long. Caleb sat in the cart and kicked his feet. I put fruit and cereal on the belt, then added a small box of cookies because I felt like I earned something. When I tapped my card, the machine beeped and flashed an error. I tried again. Same beep. The cashier asked if I had another payment method. I said my bank was acting up. My cheeks burned. People behind me sighed. I tried my credit card and it went through, but the moment felt like a slap anyway. In the car, I opened my bank app. The joint account still showed money, but the settings looked different. I could see alerts I had never set. I saw a notification line that said something about spending notification and shared access changes, but I could not open details without a code. I told myself it was a glitch. I told myself Ethan was doing something petty. Then I remembered his calm face and his meeting personal reminders, and the fear came back. When I got home, the kids ran inside and dropped their shoes in the wrong place. I was about to yell, but I stopped. I told myself I needed to look like the stable parent now. I made snacks and turned on a cartoon. I smiled at them, and my smile felt like a mask that was sliding. Ethan arrived at 6, right on time again. He asked how school went. I said fine. He asked if Mia had homework. I said yes. He asked if he could help. I said sure, but I said it like I was doing him a favor. He sat at the table with Mia, and his voice stayed soft. He asked what her spelling words were. She said them slowly. He said she was doing well. I watched her shoulders relax, and it irritated me. Caleb climbed onto Ethan's lap and asked if Dad would sleep in the house tonight. Ethan said not tonight. Caleb asked why. Ethan said adults sometimes needed space to make good choices. Caleb asked if Mom did a bad choice. Ethan paused, then said, "No one should talk like that," and he said Caleb was safe and loved. Caleb accepted it, like the answer was a blanket. I wanted Ethan to look guilty or angry. I wanted him to say something sharp so I could point at it. So when the kids went to wash hands, I stepped close and asked if he thought he was a hero now. He asked what I meant. I said he was performing for the kids and for everyone else. He said he was just being their dad. I asked why he was keeping notes and reminders like a robot. He said he was keeping track of schedules and important details. I said he was collecting evidence because he wanted to hurt me. He said he did not want to hurt anyone. He said he wanted clarity. The word clarity annoyed me. I told him clarity was what people use to justify control. He asked why I saw control in every normal request. I told him he always made it sound normal. I told him he was good at sounding reasonable. He said he had no reason to shout. After dinner, I walked past the guest room and heard a low hum, like a machine running. It stopped when I paused. I knocked on the door. Ethan opened it halfway. He asked what I needed. I said I wanted to talk. I looked past him and saw a faint toner smell again. I also saw a printer on a small table with a blank page sticking out, like it had started something and stopped. On the bed, there was a closed laptop. The screen was dark, but the edge showed a spreadsheet grid for a second before it went fully black, like it had just been used. I asked what he was printing. He said it was nothing important, just household planning. I asked why he needed a printer for planning. He said he was organizing. I asked if he was hiding money from me. He said he was making sure bills got paid and the kids had stability. I asked if he was punishing me. He said he was protecting the kids from chaos. I stepped closer and lowered my voice, like I was trying to be intimate. I asked if he missed me at all. He said he missed the idea of peace. I asked if he still loved me. He said love did not fix trust. I laughed and said trust was rich coming from him, because he never trusted me in the first place. He said he trusted me until my stories started changing. That line made my stomach flip. I told him he was imagining things. I told him he was spiraling. I told him he needed help. He said he was fine. He said he was calm on purpose. I tried a new push. I said if he kept acting like this, I would tell everyone the real story. I said people already believed me. I said HR was aware. He asked why I involved work. I said because I needed support. He said support was not the same as shaming. He reached into a drawer and took out his keys. I heard a soft click like a lock. My eyes dropped to the desk and I saw a folder with taxes written on it. A small USB was taped under it, labeled only with a date. My mouth went dry. I asked what that was. He said it was his personal records. I told him he was acting like I was an enemy. He said he did not want enemies. He said he wanted a proper process because emotions made people lie. I wanted to argue, but I could not find a clean angle. Ethan looked at me with that steady face again, and he said he was going to handle it properly. The next day, I walked into the office like I owned the floor. I wore a calm face and a sharp outfit because I needed the world to read me as stable. In my head, I repeated my story. Ethan left, Ethan punished me, Ethan could not handle truth. I had barely reached the lobby elevators when a man in a plain jacket stepped toward me. He asked if I was Ligeia Brooks. I said yes and asked who he was. He said he had documents for me. I felt my stomach drop, but I lifted my chin. I asked if this was some kind of harassment. He said it was formal service, and he only needed my confirmation. Renee was walking in behind me with a coffee. 2 coworkers were near the security desk. I could feel their eyes. I told myself this was Ethan trying to embarrass me. I told myself he wanted a scene. Still, the man's voice stayed calm, and he did not argue with me. He asked me to sign for receipt. I said I would not sign anything. He said my signature was not required to receive it. Then he placed the packet in my hands like it was a normal delivery. The front page said divorce. It also said temporary orders. The words looked clean and official, and I hated how neat they were. I stepped into a quiet corner and flipped through. I saw a parenting schedule with exact days and pickup times. I saw rules about shared money and spending limits. I saw a line about both of us not posting about each other online. I saw that the start date was today. My phone buzzed with a bank alert. It said a new rule was active on the joint account. I tried to open my app and felt my breath snag when I saw I could not move money the way I always did. It did not say punishment, it said protection. That word made me feel sick. I called Ethan right there. He did not answer. I texted him that he was cruel for doing this at my job. He replied that it was handled properly and that the kids would be picked up at the listed time. I looked up and saw Renee watching from a distance. I could not read her face anymore. Then I saw Ethan through the glass doors, outside by the curb, holding Mia's backpack and Caleb's small coat. He did not look at me. He just checked his watch, turned, and walked away.